One of the things I am most scared of in my life is looking back with regret. Looking back at all the little moments that I missed in pursuit of more. This year, I've been really working on slowing down and trying to be more present for the little moments that make up most of our lives, and making sure that I'm actually building a life by design and not just by default. So these are some simple, tiny habits that I have implemented that have really helped me slow down. 5 minutes of nothing. This is literally a block that I have on my calendar every day just to have 5 minutes of nothing happening. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you don't have any music, no podcast, no work that you're thinking of, no work that you're doing, no book that you're reading, for just 5 minutes, and you sit there and you stare at a wall, not trying to meditate, but you just let your brain kind of do its thing and you observe it. It's a beautiful time for me to just kind of reset and make sure that there's actually breaks in my life to remember that my life is not online, it's not on a computer screen, and sometimes I need physical breaks to make that happen. Free zones. For me, this is my sauna, my cold plunge, and my bedroom. No phones or screens are allowed in any of those places. And for me, I need spaces where I have rules in order to reset my brain, because almost everything I do these days is online. My work's online, my friends are online, my entertainment is online, and having spaces in my life where that screen is not allowed with me, and I am forced to be present, to think, to feel, and listen to what's around me. For me, this has turned into a little reset every day, and I've realized that when I don't take my phone to bed with me, I sleep almost an hour more at night, which is honestly almost life-changing. Following the speed limit. If you want to be extremely intentional about not rushing your entire life, try actually following the speed limit just for like 10 or 20 minutes. This has been trucks, dude. This forces me to get out of that hurried mindset of being in a rush to get places, and helps me scale back and realize that I can be 3 minutes later to where I'm going, and it won't really change my life at all. I don't need to be in a rush to accomplish as much as possible in a short amount as possible every single day nonstop, but instead I can actually physically slow down and just enjoy the views around me. Look at the other people rushing and just realize that I'm okay. If you want to take this up a level, try going to the longest line at checkout. I know this seems crazy, but this is intentionally slowing down, and it's actually been really good mentally for me to just realize that, again, 2 minutes is not going to change my life. Schedule control. The average father spends about 1 hour a day with their kids, and you spend about 95% of your time that you're going to spend with your kids between their ages of 0 and 18. So one of my biggest fears was not being around for my kids because I have to work. And for most people, I think they accept this as just the way that life is, but I was kind of unwilling to do that. I do think that there's something a little off with me mentally, but I realized that I want to have complete control over my schedule. I want to be able to be home for lunch every day. I want to be able to travel extensively and see other parts of the world while still working. So I want location freedom. I also want time freedom, where I am in control of my own schedule and no boss is ever going to call me into work so that I'll have to miss a holiday or birthday or soccer game ever in my life. And I've been super blessed over the last couple years of having a daughter and now a son as well, that I've been able to spend an enormous amount of time with them. Been able to make great memories and travel and kind of do a lot of those things that I set out for. But that really didn't happen accidentally. It happened by intentionally focusing on building a job that I could work that wouldn't always be rushed. For me, that was different forms of investing, and then also creating my own business. And yes, there are a lot of stresses with owning a business, which for me is YouTube, but I've also created a ton of freedom for myself by taking on different stresses than everybody else, because you have a choice to let somebody else control your life and not have control over those stresses, or to take those risks and in the future be able to have a lot more control over your life. For me, looking at the memories that I've made, it was the best investment I have ever made of my time and attention to actually be able to build a life that I can live on my own terms. By the way, if you're looking to reset your life, I made a free 30-day life reset on how to reset your mental, physical, and digital life. There's a link down below. It's free, and for me this year it's made a huge impact. Focus on one task per day. We have so many things on our to-do lists, on our calendars, that it's almost impossible to have singular focus. But when you are intentionally building your life and you have specific goals written down, it becomes much clearer what you should be focusing your time and attention on to get you closer, which ultimately can give you a lot more freedom. So while I do have multiple things on my to-do list, I always have one priority every day that if I get that done, I will feel like my day is a success. And accomplishing one important thing every day has completely transformed my life. Plan tomorrow tonight. When I don't do this, I am almost constantly stressed. I wake up and I'm pulled in a million different directions. I have so many things on my to-do list that I'm pretty much always in a slight state of panic. So to combat this, I started planning out my next day the night before, where at the end of my workday, I take just a few minutes and I write out my top 3 things that I need to get done the next day so that when I wake up in the morning, I know exactly what I should do. In fact, I took it a step further and I lay out my clothes for the next day. I fill up my coffee pot, so I just need to turn it on. I grind my coffee so it doesn't wake everybody else up in the morning. And just that little bit of preparation has brought so much calm and slowness to my morning that I'm able to start slow, which brings a lot of calm to the rest of my day. And speaking of the mornings, wake up like clockwork. I wake up at 5:30, 7 days a week, no matter what. And yes, part of that is because I'm trying to wake up earlier than my daughter. But for me, waking up consistently at the same time has reduced my stress. It allows me a lot of consistency and control over my day. And I know that the earlier I wake up, generally the slower my life can be, because I'm not rushed first thing in the morning getting ready for work, getting the kids ready. Even just an extra 15 or 30 minutes shifted from at night watching TV or scrolling my phone over into the morning of productive, slow, calm time before everybody is up has been like life-changing. Write it down. If you're anything like me and your brain is all over the place, then you probably get ideas at random times or things that you forgot you had to do. And for me, building a system, which is just having notes on my phone, of writing down ideas, things that I have to do, or anything like that immediately as soon as I remember, has taken a lot of mental stress off of me and also helped me remember a lot more things, be more productive, and generally miss less appointments, which used to happen pretty much all the time. Fix the little things. It took me almost 3 years to actually finish my office now that I'm getting close to having another office. And it was only a couple hours worth of work that I continually put off and put off and put off. Most of us have projects throughout our lives that wouldn't take all that long to get done, but that we continually push off and push off and push off. And they always have a little bit of space in our minds that are filled with that knowledge that there's something you need to do that you were not doing. So let this be your permission to get up and get those things done today, this week, so that you can spend a few hours and take something off of your mental strain for the next year. It's very liberating. Stay calm no matter what. One of the things that I respect about my dad the most is that I cannot remember a time where he has ever yelled, and that I've pretty much taken throughout most of my adult life, is that I am able to stay very calm. I have a rule that I never yell. I will never yell at my kids. I've never yelled at my wife. It's just something that I am unwilling to do. And that doesn't mean that I never want to get angry. I never want to yell. I never want to slam things or throw things. But when I made this shift to taking complete accountability for everything in my life and not letting other people dictate my emotions or my responses, I've been able to have a lot more happiness for myself and also generally better outcomes when other people are not in charge of their emotions. And I always try to remain calm, or if I can't, then to just walk away. There's been multiple times looking back where I know I would have done something I would have regretted and could have, hurt relationships or could have hurt me in a bunch of different ways that I've not done because of that example from my dad. And one of my goals now is to be that for my kids, to never have them see me yell or throw things or be upset, to always see somebody who is in control of their own emotions. And when you are in control, you have a choice. There can be 2 people in the exact same circumstances doing the same thing, and one person can be happy and one person can be stressed. And I know it's not always in your control, but a lot of times it is your choice to be either one of those you want to be. You can choose to look at suffering as just part of life. Life's not supposed to be easy. If you expect it to be, you're constantly going to be disappointed. You can look at struggles, things you go through, as growth. You can look at a broken arm as a positive that will give you time to do other things in your life and make a shift. In general, I've realized it's pretty much all my choice of how I react to any situation. And I've tried as much as I can to always react positively, because for me, if I allow myself to stress, to worry, think about different outcomes that could happen or people's intentions, to think about the bad stuff that's happened to me, I will get stressed out, I'll freak out, I'll have a mental breakdown. I've been there before. But I can also choose to just smile, to be happy, to love the fact that I'm alive, that I'm healthy, I can stand up, I can see, I can speak, I have a roof over my head, I have a great family. If you zoom out enough, you are an incredibly lucky person, and this crap that happens to us won't matter in a few years. So how you react to it, totally up to you. But for me, whenever possible, I'm gonna choose being happy. Growth. What I put into my eyes and my ears matters so much to me. So I've shifted a lot from social media and sometimes even music into trying to learn and better myself. And recently I've been using this app called Shortform a lot. They're not sponsoring this video, but I have worked with them before and I really like them. Pretty much what I'll do is in the morning while having my coffee, I'll either read or listen to a summary of a book. And starting my day with growth like this has really helped put me in the right mindset. And I feel like if I'm not growing, I'm actually not even just standing still, but like going backwards. So for me, this has been really helpful recently. I'll leave a link down below if you want to check them out. Disconnect from the noise. Right now, there's a lot of noise going on, especially in politics. And that used to be something that I followed. I campaigned for years, actually, in my teens. I was super into politics. And then I realized it is something that tons of people stress about. I used to stress about, and I have almost no control over it. What I can control is bettering myself, working hard for my family, being present. There are certain things I can control. What I can't control is a debate that happens somewhere. I can't control who the president is, who my governor is. There's very little control we have over things, and yet many people listen to this noise about politics, about the news in general, which is generally negative, and they will listen to 5, 10, 20, 50 hours a week of content throughout radio, TV, news, social media, and they'll constantly be engaged with stuff that has no impact on their life and generally just makes them stressed, annoyed, and angry at the other half of the population. So for me, I have cut this out almost entirely. I generally have no idea what's going on, and about once a month I will ask one of my friends if anything important happened, and for the most part they'll tell me in about 5 minutes. And maybe this isn't the best approach, but if I don't want to have a nervous breakdown, this is the best approach for me, and I think for most people it will make you much happier, and unless you're taking a ton of action off that stuff you're consuming, it won't really impact you in any negative ways. Live within your means. I've seen a lot of negative things happen because people don't live within their means. The first is I know multiple people who've had to get part-time jobs where they work all day and then they work a few hours at night just to pay for stuff that doesn't really matter, like having a brand new car constantly, having a bigger apartment than they need, taking lavish vacations, or just spending way too much money on Amazon. If you're consistently spending more than you're taking in, you're pretty much guaranteeing that for the foreseeable future until that changes, you're going to have to work more, be stressed about money, have debt weighing over you, and be a constant mental burden. And generally this leads to less freedom because you don't have the option to take off work because you don't need the money, and just a lot of unhappiness. And it's very easy to get caught up in this trap of materialism when you're spending money constantly and you don't focus on the things that really matter. If you're looking for some other habits to help you save money, there's a beautiful list right here. It's very good. So check that out if you'd like to. See you next week. Waiting for this beeping to go away. That's some fun beeping, right? Can you still hear that? Beep, 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 beep. Don't do it to me. Don't you do it. I think it's happening. All right, I'm gonna turn this off.